Hey guys, let me give you some advice. Highly recommend wrapping it up if you're in a province like this. Here's why. See this little guy here? He was not wrapped up. He should have been. It would have saved him. This is horrible. This guy here wouldn't have had the problems he does now if he had wrapped it up. And this one here, it could have been prevented. So like other things, protecting your trees with a wrap like this will definitely help it from future problems. So what am I really talking about? Well, in parts of Canada, Ontario, Quebec, out east, we get so much snow it damages the trees, the plants, the shrubs. So what happens is, it's not when the snow falls that's the problem. It's actually in spring when the snow is melting. So right here you can see that this bit of snow actually drags down the branches. As the snow's falling, it builds up and builds up around the tree or the shrub or the bush. But in winter or the start of spring, it'll start to become warm and it'll actually latch on and freeze to parts of the tree. And then as the snow starts to melt, it will actually start to drag these branches down with it. And if they're not strong enough, then they'll split and crack and break or tear completely off. So you end up having a tree that's grown up for a year, 2 years. You have tons of good growth on it, and then you're all of a sudden back to a stick because of the snow load tearing this apart. So what can be done now with this one? Well, in some cases what we can actually do is tie this up, and we have had luck with the tree actually coming back and healing itself. It's not always the case, but it does happen sometimes. So we're going to have to get on that right away and get that all taped up. The other thing we can do too is prevent it from happening in the first place, which is why we wrap up the trees. We didn't get everything done, so as you can see there are damaged trees, which is extremely upsetting for us because, you know, you spend the money on the trees to have them grow up, to start bearing fruit, and you get all excited about it, and then the next year you find that, oh, what might have produced fruit is now just a stick, and you're going to have to wait another couple years for it to grow up a bit more. So what we recommend is actually just building any sort of tripod or a teepee sort of thing around the tree itself. You want to go up as high as the tree. You don't want any branches sticking out unless it's way above your snowfall area, the height that the snow accumulates at, because it'll take those top branches and bend them down as well. So once you build your little tripod, you grab some Tyvek, some house wrap, some plastic, anything you have like that, and staple it around the outside of the tree or outside of the tripod to give it a protective barrier like these ones over here. We've pulled off that one there. We've pulled off this little lilac here. Lilac. We've pulled off this one here, which is a crab apple. And you can see how far down these branches are compared to the snow. And they would have been broken off too if we hadn't had protected this one. We have this little lilac here as well. And you can see it's already starting to bud, but it would have been totally damaged too with the height of the snow and all this weight coming down on all these little branches here. So like I was saying, with the top branches sticking out, this one we figured would be okay. However, with the snow coming off the roof, it's bent these ones over and broken them. So we'll see what happens with that one going forward. This guy here, we just pulled the cover off it, and it looks to be in great shape. So it really makes a difference being able to protect your trees and shrubs with some sort of cover to keep the snow off it. You can see this little sugar maple and how much snow was on him. So hopefully underneath all this he should be okay. We'll pull them out in a couple days after the rest of this snow melts around. But you can also see the layers in the snow itself. You get parts where right in here it's really icy, and that kind of stuff is where it really grabs onto the limbs and does a lot of damage to the trees as this whole section just sort of slowly melts down towards the ground and drags everything with it. Some of the other ways, if you haven't built a tripod, maybe you have some pallets or skids, you can angle them over top of your bushes or shrubs, and that way all the snow comes down the side of the pallet instead of onto the tree itself or the shrub itself. What was also useful is for this little guy here, we had some old garbage cans sitting around. So we just took the garbage can itself and put it right over top of the bush. And that actually kept all the snow off it and prevented all the damage from happening. And you can see over here in this food forest, again, where we didn't get these ones protected, the damage that was done to the limbs. And the taller ones over here, where the limbs are up higher than the snow, they had no problem surviving the winter. So for us going forward, we really want to make sure that all the trees are protected from now on. And also as well, any trees we buy in the future, we're going to try and buy them so that the limbs are higher than our snow accumulation. That way we don't have to worry about wrapping them up and protecting them. They'll just be ready to go for the winter anyway. And that'll also provide us fruit much faster as well. So that'll be really handy. So guys, I hope this helped you out. If you're in an area like this or moving to an area like this, or you're already here and you want to start a food forest, make sure you protect your trees. Thanks guys, we'll talk to you soon.